This video contains general physics test discussion. The block 1 general physics. In question 1, which row shows the best choice of measuring instrument to obtain the accurate value of a distance? So if you want to measure a distance, micrometer is the most accurate instrument, but it depending on what we want to measure. So to measure a diameter of the wire, if we want to measure diameter, so then micrometer is accurate. To measure the height of the bench, so generally height of the bench within meter, so we can use a meter rule. And length of the lab, it's more than a meter, so we will use a measuring tape. So which one is the right option? Matches with all, so D is the correct answer. An object is moving with a uniform deceleration. Acceleration or deceleration both refers to change in speed, but deceleration means speed will decrease and acceleration means speed will increase. Which statement describes a motion? So its rate of change of speed is decreasing. Deceleration does not mean rate because it did not, its dimension is a uniform. So uniform deceleration means constant deceleration. Like example, first if the speed was 50 meter per second, then the speed will be 40 meter per second, then it will be 30 meter per second. So you can see the constant deceleration, which is minus 10 meter per second square, minus 10 meter per second square. So the rate of change in speed is decreasing. That's wrong. Its speed is constant. If speed is constant, then it should be zero acceleration. Speed is decreasing, so C is the right option. Speed is increasing. It's not called acceleration. It's not called deceleration. It is known as acceleration. The graph shows how the speed of a car vary during a part of its journey. What is the value of the car acceleration from 6 seconds to 10 seconds? So from 6 seconds to 10 seconds, acceleration is a change in velocity divided by time. So 15 minus initial was 10, and the time interval, because it started with 6 and ending till 10, so the time interval is 4. So it will be 5, 10 minus 15 minus 10 is equals to 5 divided by 4, that's equal to 1.25 meter per second square. So C is the right answer. The gravitational field strength on the moon is less than on Earth. Which of these is different when work done on the moon compared to that on Earth? A gravitational potential energy gained by and stored lift to a same height. That's correct. That will be different. Why? Because the gravitational potential energy or potential energy is mgh. Mass is same. Mass does not change from planet to planet. Gravity here, the height we are like we have one object, say a 2 kilogram object is on Earth, and same 2 kilogram object is on the moon. So if we lift the identical objects, to the same height, but the gravitational potential energy is given by mgh. So m is same, h is same, but what happens? G is different. So if gravity is different, the product on Earth will come out different as compared to product on moon. The kinetic energy gained by the ball when hit for the same. So kinetic energy, because when you drop the two objects, the change in potential is equals to the decrease in potential equal increase in kinetic. And if there is no air resistance, then the mass does not affect the speed at which the objects hit the ground. Like if I drop an heavy object or a lighter object, without air resistance, both will hit the ground at the same time with the same speed. The momentum gained by the bullet So momentum is a product of mass and velocity, so it does not depend on gravity. The work done in accelerating a stone from rest to a same speed, so work done, it's force into distance. So because it's not affected by the gravity, the only thing which is affected by the gravity is potential energy, and that will be different. The mass of a full bottle of a cooking is 1.3. When exactly half of the oil is being used, the mass of the bottle plus the remaining oil is 0.9. What is the mass of empty bottle? So first we'll find the mass of half of oil. So what is the mass of the half of the oil? 1.3 is the mass of the bottle plus oil, and zero point 0.9 is the mass of the, because we remove half of the oil, so it will be 1.3 minus 0.9, which is equals to 0.4. So 0.4 kilogram is the mass of half of the oil. Then what is the mass of the full oil? Because this is a mass of full oil plus bottle. This is a mass of half oil plus bottle. When we subtract, we'll get the mass of the half oil. Now what will the mass of the full oil? That will be equal to 0.8, because if half is 0.4. Now we need the mass of the bottle. So mass of the full bottle, mass of the bottle plus mass of the full oil. So it is 1.3 minus 0.8, which is equals to 0.5. So B is the right answer. A solid ball has a volume of 4 centimeter cube and the density is 1.6. What's the mass? So density is mass over volume. So mass is density multiplied by volume. So density is 1.6 multiplied by 4. So 1.6 multiplied by 4, you will get 6.4 grams. D is the right answer. The extension load graph for a spring unstretched length is 15 centimeter. An object of unknown weight is suspended. The length of a spring is 16.4. What is the weight? So how to find a weight? This is the extension graph. So first you should know extension. Now the new length is 16.4. Originally it is 15. So what is the extension increase in length? 16.4 minus 15, that's equal to 1.4. So from 1.4 you will draw a line. This is 1 point, between each is 0.1, so 1.1, 2, 3 and 4. And then find what is the load or the weight which causes extension. That's equal to 3.5. A box of mass 2 kilogram is pulled across by a force of 6 Newton. The frictional force acting is 1. What is the acceleration? So the box is experiencing a force of 6 Newton and there is a frictional force of 1 Newton. And the mass of the ball is box is 2 kilogram. So what is the result? You have this formula F is equals to ma. But what you substitute in this F, you substitute the resultant force. So resultant force is 5, mass is 2 and acceleration. So 2 is multiplied, other side it will divide. So 5 divided by 2, which you get 2.5 meter per second square. So B is the right answer. Which moving body has a resultant force? Resultant force can change the direction, can change, stop a moving object, can change the speed of an object. So a diver rising vertically at a constant, when constant speed, so resultant force will be 0. Aircraft circling in airport at a constant speed. So whenever object is moving in a circular path, there is always a force. And what is that force? The force is always directed towards the center. Whenever object move in a circular path, there is always a force which is toward the center, because when it is circling, it means the direction is changing. So whenever direction change, there should be a resultant force. A train going up straight inclined at a constant speed, so there is no change in direction. A parachute is descending vertically with a terminal speed, no change in direction as well as. So resultant force can be there if the object changes the direction or it changes the speed. So B is the right answer, because circular motion, it's continuously changing a direction, so there should be a resultant force. A constant force act on a body cause a momentum of a body to increase. Expression, so to get the force, impulse is change in momentum, or force is equals to change in momentum or impulse divided by time. Because impulse is force multiplied by time, so if we need a force, force is impulse divided by time. So impulse is a change in momentum and time, so that's A is the right answer. A car of mass 1500 kilogram has a speed of 20. It accelerates until the speed is 25. What is the increase in kinetic energy of the car? So first you will find the kinetic energy when it was moving with 20, then find the kinetic energy when it is 25, and just take a difference of the two energies. So the formula for kinetic energy, half mv square or 0.5 mv square. So first it is moving, the mass is same, speed was 20. So it will be 0.5 multiplied by 1500 multiplied by 20 square. You will get the kinetic energy in joule. And then you will find the kinetic energy when it is moving with 25 meter per second. 1500 multiplied by 25 square, you will get the kinetic energy in joule. And subtract the two values from each other. So when you subtract the two values from each other, you will get 170,000 joules or 170 kilojoules. Which source of energy uses the production of steam to generate? So hydroelectric, just the potential energy changed to kinetic, so it does not. Tidal also does not potential to kinetic. Wave energy, the kinetic. But nuclear, a nuclear energy first converted into a nuclear reaction, fission or a fusion. Normally fission is used in power station, cause release energy which is used to convert water into steam that rotate the turbine and produce electricity. A car traveling on a straight horizontal road has 1.6 megajoule of kinetic energy. It accelerates for 20 seconds until it has 2.5 megajoule of kinetic. What is the average power used to increase the kinetic energy? So again, what you have to do, subtract the two values, because this was original, how much change in kinetic energy? So that's 2.5 minus 1.6. So that's equal to 0.9 megajoule. Mega means 10 power 6. So I can write this as 0.9 into 10 power 6. That's the energy. But we need a power. So power is energy divided by time. So I will divide by 20 to get this time. To get the power. So energy divided power, rate of doing work done, or energy divided by time. So question 13, when you solve, substitute the values, you will get C as a right answer. The diagram shows an athlete exerting, which diagram shows an athlete exerting least pressure on the ground? So pressure is forced by area, because athlete weight is same for all the cases, so force is constant. What is the relation between area and pressure? Inverse. So we want a least pressure. So if we want least pressure, we should check which one is having a greater contact area. So you can see B is having greater contact area as compared to any other. The diagram shows a U-tube manometer. If the levels are same, What it shows they are exerting, because the mercury level in the both limbs or both column is same. So it shows that pressure exerted by X is same as pressure exerted by Y. But you can see for X, we are using a greater depth. We need more liquid for X as compared to Y. So what it shows the density, because they're applying the same pressure. So pressure of X and pressure of the Y is same. How we identify? Because both levels are same. So pressure of X is equals to pressure of Y. Density gravity, so we can say density gravity in height is equal for X and Y will be same. The products are same. But you can see for X, the height is more. So if height is more, it should have a smaller density. For Y, the depth is less, so it should have a higher density, so that the product will be same for X and Y. So which options are correct? Pressure at X is same as pressure at Y, but the density of the Y is greater than density of XY, because we use a less depth, so it should have a higher density to create same pressure as X. So option D was the right answer. Acceleration, how we define an acceleration? Acceleration is refers to change in speed or rate of change in speed. The rate here refers to like with time, with respect to time. If you just mention change in speed, that's not right. Why only change in speed is not correct? Because that's not a full or complete answer. It should be rate of change in speed. For the next part, for a distance time graph, the slope represents the speed. So you can see the first part, the slope is increasing, then the slope is constant, and then the slope is decreasing. So same thing, this motion is having three parts. From 0 to 15, the speed is increasing. From 15 to 30, the speed is constant. And from 30 to 40, because the slope is decreasing, so speed is decreasing. Then calculate for 40-second journey average speed. Average speed is the total distance over total time. So total distance is 300 and total time is 40. So when we calculate it average speed, it will be 300 divided by 40, which is equals to 7.5. So that's 300 divided by 40. That's equal to 7.5. But maximum speed means which region it is having the maximum slope. It's having a maximum slope from, you can see this is steeper like as compared to any other part. So maximum slope is there from 15 to 30. So what you will do, you will take this region only and find the gradient or the slope. So if I want for this region from 15, I can take any 2 point, but I'm taking a maximum distance between the 2 points, so I'll get more accurate answer. So 250 is there. This one is 70, and the time interval is equals to 15. So gradient y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or 250 minus 70 divided by 15. So that's equal to 250 minus that's 180, and 180 divided by 50. That will be equal to 12. So the maximum speed of the journey is 12 meter per second. State one advantage and one disadvantage of wind turbine. So what are advantages for this wind turbine? That we don't need fuel. It does not produce pollution. It's renewable. And what is the disadvantage? It causes a visual pollution, expensive to build, cause noise pollution as well. So no fuel required, renewable, and disadvantage, it can cause a noise pollution or visual pollution, or expensive to build. The next part, the volume is given 24,000 and the density is given. We need mass. So mass is density multiplied by volume. So 24,000 multiplied by 1.3. So the answer will be 31,000 kilogram. Then we need kinetic energy, which is half mv square. Always write the formula first. 1 mark is for writing a formula and second is for the answer. So 0.5 multiplied by 31,000 multiplied by speed, which is 16 square. So when you substitute this, you will get approximately, this is normally rounded off answer. You don't have to round off. What you get, you will write the same, but the rounded off answer is 4 exponent 6. It's not exactly 4 exponent 6. It's rounded off to 4 exponent 6. Then suggest why some of the kinetic energy of air that passes through a circular area swept out of by the blade is not converted into electrical. Like, why not all the kinetic convert into electrical? Because as the air is passing through the blade, some of the air without hitting the blade passes through, or not all the air is in contact with the blade. You can see, because these are the blades. So not all of the air which is flowing is in contact. Some of the particles without having a contact with the blade, some of the air particles without having a contact with the air will sweep out or move through this. So some of the particles will move pass through without contact with the blade. And next question, figure 4.1 shows a mercury barometer. So what is contained at, so we should have a vacuum or it is acceptable mercury vapor, but you cannot say air. That's wrong. Mercury vapors are acceptable or vacuum. On a particular day, the atmospheric pressure is 1.02 exponent 5. The density is 13,000. Calculate the height. So how to, basically the idea is that the atmospheric pressure balance with the mercury pressure. So pressure of atmosphere and pressure of mercury are same. So when the mercury stop rising, so pressure of atmosphere is equals to pressure of the liquid or mercury. Pressure of atmosphere is given 1.02 into 10 power 5. And pressure of the liquid is density, gravity, and height. So 1.02 into 10 power 5. The density is 13,600. Multiplied by gravity is 10 and multiplied by height. So when we find the height, we'll get that as 0.75 meter. Then the tube containing a mercury is now tilted, like we just slightly tilted. Will it make any difference? No, it will not make any difference. Why it will not make difference? Because the height of the liquid rises depends on the atmospheric pressure. Even I use a narrow tube I use a wider tube, but the height with the mercury will rise in the tube will be same. So same height will be there because the pressure due to column depends on the pressure of the atmosphere, or the pressure remain constant, like as constant density and gravity, so height should not change. So answer for this part, if we tilt it, it will, the h will be same. It does not depend on, because there is no change in atmospheric pressure, density of liquid, and gravity. That's why the h will remain same. Another barometer in the same room at the same time shows a lower height than, what might be a reason why the same in this, it is placed in the same room but it's showing a smaller height. So what could be the reason? The reason might be like it might contain, it's not a perfect vacuum, it might contain some air. So if a barometer contains some air, then the height, the level which it shows will be smaller, because air exert pressure now and atmosphere is also exerting pressure, but there's air pressure. Due to that, the height will be smaller. So the answer for this part, so some air present in the space above mercury, which exert pressure on the mercury. Downward pressure is acceptable, or pressure on the mercury is also acceptable. So this was a test paper of block 1, general physics.